everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the Matrix trilogy. And today we are going to be talking about 2003's The Matrix Reloaded. Okay, so the film starts off with this visual of, Matrix code forming into a clock, and it's, counting down. We see, I'm your host, Red Hood 29. I'm sorry. I jumped the gun. My bad. But, the movie starts off with the Matrix code transforming into a clock representing, a countdown to something drastic happening. Then we see Trinity go inside the Matrix, and she is diving out of a high window and then firing her gun and then ultimately crashing down into a car. After that, Neo wakes up like, what did I just witness? You know, Neo has came a long, long way from the first movie. Because the first movie, he was, struggling with agents, getting his butt whooped. Now, not so much. So, after that, during, nightmare that he had, uh, Morpheus, Neo, and Trinity, they all, gather at a secret location with the other captains to try to figure out a plan how to stop like 250,000 sentinels, because they're actually digging. Yeah, they were actually digging to try to get to Zion. And for those of us who have played Enter the Matrix, we get like a little Easter egg of, you know, the Osiris captain of the Osiris, and he's the one who, obtained a package to like bring to the other captains to let them know of what the machines were planning. And also, if you haven't seen the movie The Animatrix, go check it out, because that actually ties into the Matrix and uh, Matrix Reloaded. But after that, you know, at the meeting, Morpheus like brings up an important point. He's like, "Hey, uh, does a commander like have a plan to stop like 250,000 Sentinels?" And then Niobe, she was like, "A plan still being formulated." He was like, "I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is." Like him being smug with the commander, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, really though? But at the same time, though, I kind of feel I see where he's going. I see where he's going with it. Everybody else is like, "Hey, what do we do?" You know, Naomi was like, "Hey, we go, broadcast." She was like, "Hey, we gonna do what Commander Locke told us to do, and retreat broadcast level and return back to Zion." Morpheus was like, "Hey, hey, hey, somebody need to, one ship need to stay behind to like, just in case the Oracle tries to contact us, like one of us needs to stay behind. She might, play a pivotal role in trying to like stop the machines." And so, like, like Captain Bowser, he was like, "Hey, I like, bruh, bullshit us to, disobey a direct order." He was like, "Yeah, you damn right I am." It was like, He was like, hey, he's like, bullshit. He was like, shit, I do it just, just for them, just to see, like, just to see you put in a stockade, bro. You got 36 hours. So with, the meeting had adjourned, uh, this mysterious figure had popped up to give like one of the guards something for Neo. We already know who it was. It was Agent Smith. He got, set free from the Matrix. He was no longer an agent of the system, you know. And so Neo was like, hey, Neo sensed something was wrong, but he couldn't tell what it was. Neo, one of the guards was like, hey, how'd you know somebody was here? He was like, hey, I'm that guy. So, it was cool to see the upgraded agents and how they talked and how they fight. Neo actually made like work of said agents in the movie. And then here come Agent Smith, walking up with his duplicate, like, you know what I'm saying? Like nothing happened. It was like, hey, that ain't go the way we wanted it to go. But hey, it is what it is. So after that, everybody, goes back to Zion. Link is, the main operator now because, you know, uh the first person who played the operator, he asked for more money for, he asked for more money. WB Entertainment was like, nope. Like, nah. And so WB or whatnot. So like, you know what I'm saying? But they wrote like a backstory about like how like Tank and Dozer, like Dozer went down with the main crew from Matrix One. So Link got put on to like carry on like his legacy. So after, they reach Zion, like Commander Locke and his men like uh escort Morpheus to the stockade to meet with Commander Locke. Meanwhile, Link, uh Trinity and Neo, they approach uh Michael Popper from, it's a short from uh the Animatrix explaining like his story of where he like ejected from the Matrix and like ended up in the real world. So, another cool little detail from, the Matrix universe. Turns out he wanted to join the Nebuchadnezzar. Everybody else is, Trinity, Neo, and Link. They're like, yeah, I don't think that's a good idea. Like, like, given our track record of like losing people, losing people here in, bruh, it's it's a bad omen. You don't want to do that. So after that, Link goes, to be with his lady. Neo and them, they actually get into it in the elevator. They start like making out passionately. I'm like, wait a minute, like, and then after that, the citizens of Zion, they offer Neo like a lot of stuff, like bread and cloth and all of that stuff, and like they are just gathering outside of the elevator because they look at Neo as their their messiah, their messiah. So Neo's like, uh, hey, like, where you going? She was like, don't worry, they need you. He was like, he was like, but I need you. She's like, there's time. So after that, it cuts off. it cuts to Morpheus and Locke, and he was like, "Hey, you disobeyed a direct order. You were supposed to return to Zion." He was like, "I would have, but I had to recharge my ship, bro. Like, do you know how hard it is? Like, I had to recharge my ship." He was like, "I will make sure you." He was like, "If it was up to me, I would like make sure you don't set foot on another ship." He was like, "That ain't Morpheus. Them jabs that Morpheus be, putting on, like Morpheus is about that business." He was like, "Hey, like, well, thank goodness it's not up to you. That is your prerogative. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna keep continuing to do what I will need to do." He's like, "God damn it, Morpheus." He was like, "Not all of us believe like you believe." I was like, he was like, "My beliefs don't require you to." Counselor Harmon, uh, which I believe he is the spoon boy from the first Matrix, but we gonna get into that later. So after that, they all, get ready for this ceremony, well, this speech or whatnot. Counselor Harmon was like leading it and like opening a prayer, and Morpheus got on the scene and he, told the people what happened. What happened. He was like, "Hey, throughout like 100 years, machines and everybody else, 100 throughout 100 years, the machines had, sent their armies to, defeat us for 100 years. We had, stood our ground, and for 100 years, we had fought like tooth and nail to push the machines back. And guess what? Within 100 years, we are still here." And like thunderous applause like came out through, you know, the cave. And he said, "Let us remember like throughout this hall of stone, metal, and magma. Like let us send the message to these machines tonight. Like we are here, okay? We are here, and we are not afraid." And so after that, everybody had started cheering Morpheus on. Neo came back. Uh, he was waiting for Trinity, just like how in the first movie, where he was in that club. He ain't really party with them. He was more so seeking knowledge. Yeah, he was more so seeking knowledge from he was more so seeking out knowledge about what the Matrix was, what it is, and you kind of get that similarity in the cave scene. And the flute Zion party scene. So everybody's partying. Neo is and Trinity. They basically went back and smashed. They went back and smashed. So after that, we get this montage of them partying. It goes back to Neo and Trinity. After that, Neo gets this premonition of Trinity like dying and whatnot, and he couldn't sleep, so he's conversing with Counselor Harmon about like trying to shut down the machines. Counselor Harmon was like, "Hey, we could destroy them, but we would have no air, we would have no heat, we would have no lights, we would have no food, everything would be messed up." And so he was like, "Hey, we got to work together." So after that, Neo goes to it cuts back to Neo and the Matrix, and like he's gained like Superman type powers from Agent Smith, the Agent Smith fight from Matrix. So he's looking for the Oracle. He can't find the Oracle, because he has questions. And so he gets a call from this unknown individual. So he goes to this tea house where he meets Seraph, who is kind of an angel a little bit, because yeah, he's an angel, and so they and so they fight, and then Seraph is like, "Hey, like I needed to know you were truly the one." He was like, "You could have just asked." He was like, "You don't know somebody truly until you fight them." Like, then he winds up leading him through like back doors through the Matrix, where they find the Oracle. The Oracle tells him, he was like, "Hey, you haven't been sleeping. What's wrong?" You know, Neo was like, "Hey, you're not human. You're from the machine world. What's really going on?" He was like, she was like, "Hey, I'm here to help you out." He was like, "Why?" He was like, she was like, "Hey, the only way to get there is together. We got to work together. We have to work together. There's a dangerous program who have, who kidnapped the Keymaker. He's being held by the Merovingian, a dangerous program. Uh, you gonna need to be at this address at this time in order for you to have a chance at rescuing him." She also was like, "Hey, every, every program that had been, assimilated or has, tried to escape this place has been, governed by an outside force, you know, programs that, choose to hide here and, gather, other programs, they could actually choose exile or deletion, which is, basically going back to the source." And so he was like, "Hey, everything that you've heard about like vampires, werewolves, ghosts, goblins, it's, an outside force working in tandem to like to do something that's, not they ain't supposed to be doing. Be careful." So after that, they meet the Merovingian, and the Merovingian was like the Merovingian, he was like, "Hey, like I know why you're here, cause and effect. Uh it's my business to know everything." Uh he was basically like Lucifer from the show Lucifer, you know, aka, Hades from, if you want to, take it to Greek mythology. So he's basically like that. And then, he was like, "Hey, it's my business to know everything. So I know why you're here. This, that, and the third." He was like, "You're wasting your time, cause and effect." Uh, Neo was, more concerned about like getting more information out of the Merovingian. The Merovingian was like, "That's my point. Like, I know why you're here. I know what your plan is. I know why the Oracle sent you to me. but that's a wrap. Like your whole journey is pointless. Your whole journey is pointless. She manipulated the scenes to like lead you to me. And so, with that being said, Persephone, which is the Merovingians, the Merovingians, uh, his lady, uh, she leads them to the bathroom, and yeah, she asks him for a kiss. She asks Neo for a kiss. Neo's like, all right. Trinity was like not having it. Morpheus was like, stand down, and you know they kissed. Like at first, he was faking it. He was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And then like the second attempt, like Persephone was like, all right, follow me. Which leads me to believe that Persephone was a succubus. For those of you who don't know what a succubus is, like a succubus is it's a vampire, but that feeds off of like mm, entanglement. Entanglement. Let's put it like that. Let's just put it like that. Entanglement that just feeds off of entanglement. Now, after that encounter, they go to uh the Merovingians grotto where they get introduced to two of Merovingian's henchmen who are werewolves in human form. She kills one of them, sends the other one to tell uh Merovingian what she did, where they find the keymaker. This big climactic battle ensues with the Merovingian and his henchmen. There are two twins that phase through the floor to try to get to the Merovingian. They they wind up not getting to the they wind up getting to the key maker. After that, uh Neo is fighting the Merovingian's henchmen. He defeats all of them. He's like, hey, I've survived numerous of your predecessors. I will survive you, sir. And then cut back to the keymaker, like both Trinity and Morpheus, they actually like they that was one of the more interesting fight scenes between uh the twins, Morpheus and Trinity, actually showcased like Morpheus's, fighting style within the within the Matrix. So they all go to the freeway. Neo's, still at like up in the mountains. They reach the freeway. Yeah, they reach the freeway. Uh Trinity hops on a truck filled with motorcycles to get the keymaker out. They go one way. Agents, follow them, and then the twins, because notice how like the twins they don't want to kill the keymaker. They just want him deleted, and the agents are the bodyguards of the Matrix. So their job is to bring him in unharmed. So they so Trinity gets the Keymaker out. Actually, I take that back. Trinity creates a diversion. Morpheus is fighting one of the agents. One of the agents assimilates uh, in one truck, and then another assimilates in another truck, and then they collide, and then this big explosion happens, but not before Neo rescues both Morpheus and the Keymaker. They wind up conversing. They all wind up conversing inside the Matrix with Morpheus, Ghost, Niobe, and Captain Soren and his crew. They all have, they got to work together because on this specific night, the power, it's a power plant that has to be destroyed, and system has to be shut down within the building in order for Neo to unlock a door and then go through it. So they all, play their part and go through it, but not before uh but not before, you know, they reach the hallway of doors. After they reach the hallway of doors, Agent Smith just appears out of nowhere, assimilated, with thousands upon thousands of copies of himself. Cause after Neo's meeting with the Oracle, he had made thousands upon thousands of copies. And that fight was epic. So after that hallway fight, because Morpheus was in the middle of that fight and he was getting ready to be assimilated and turned into Agent Smith, because Agent Smith had assimilated Bane and took over his mind. So within the movie, so after that they all get to the hidden door, courtesy of the Keymaker, the Agent Smiths. Wind up uh they all wind up shooting their guns at the door. The Keymaker dies, but not before telling Morpheus. He's like, hey, this door is gonna take you home to the left. This door is yours for the special key, so you can go do that. Morpheus winds up leaving. Neo winds up opening up the door with the light, with the light source code, and it actually takes him like to a special place, beyond time, where he meets the father of the Matrix, the architect. Where the architect, he was like, hey, he hits him with the crucialest knowledge bomb ever. He was like, hey, you are the sixth anomaly, the source code that I had like inadvertently created. Okay. He was like, hey, I looked at, all your life to like this moment. This, all this led you to me. He's like, hey, the source code that you carry, you could like Zion will be destroyed. The door to your left will lead you back to Zion where it will be destroyed, where you will choose like 60 people to repopulate Zion. To the right, you get to save Trinity. She is going to die. Neo was like, hey, you can't. You need human beings to survive. The architect, he was like, hey, like, we have, there are levels of survival we are, willing to, to deal with. And so Neo chooses the door to your right where Trinity was fighting one of the agents. She gets shot. There's actually a safe countermeasure to after where Neo, after exiting the architect's, room, the whole building actually exploded. So Neo winds up catching Trinity and, pulling the bullet out and restarting her heart. Like literally restarting her heart, parallel to the first Matrix where she brought him back, he brought her back. And so after that, they all exit the Matrix. Neo tells Morpheus, he's like, hey, the one wasn't supposed to end anything. That was just, an endless cycle of, you know, that was just that was just a loophole. That was just another system of control. He was like, hey, who told you that? He was like, parallel to where the first Matrix, Morpheus had all the answers, and Neo was asking so many questions, but Morpheus was being vague with Neo. And this one, Neo had like the answers. You know, Morpheus had the questions. Neo was being vague about it. Nice little tie-in. So after that, they all get you know, they all get an alert where, the squiddies or whatnot, uh, the sentinel like robots, they approach the Nebuchadnezzar. They basically throw a makeshift bomb, and disable the Nebuchadnezzar. After that, Trinity, Morpheus, Neo, and Link, they are in the tunnels running for their life. The Nebuchadnezzar is blown up by, the Sentinel bombs, but not before, like as they're running for their life, Neo stops and he actually holds out his hand and stops one of the Sentinels, which in turn sends him into a coma because, you know, the abilities passed on to like throughout the Matrix have been, transferred onto him because, he's the one after uh Agent Smith killed him, he actually gained some powers, and it actually transferred over to inside the Matrix, outside of the real world. The hammer, like, just so happened to pull up, scooped, the four of them, and they are scoop the four of them. Meanwhile, Trinity is in the med bay, you know, looking after Neo. They all get a distress, call saying like, "Hey, an EMP was, triggered, you know, during like y'all's arrival." You know what I'm saying? So after that, once you know it, it actually cut off between, side by side with Neo to the left and then Bane to the right, parallel between, two opposites of the same, yeah, two opposites that go, hand in hand, tandem with each other. And so, yeah, it cut off. I was actually excited. I didn't want it to end like that on a cliffhanger, but it did. Uh, this was the first Matrix is it's nostalgia, whereas the second Matrix is it's action packed, like from start to finish. Slow burn. There's no slow burn in Matrix Reloaded. Okay, just plus the little Easter eggs with the imagery with because it's imagery like biblical imagery like scattered throughout the Matrix Reloaded. Heck, you could heck even in the Matrix, the first one, it was like biblical imagery throughout that. But like it all like everything ties together in Matrix Reloaded. Whether it's, you know, the Animatrix or Enter the Matrix, it beautifully ties together. As always, I've been your host, Red Hood 29. This has been Matrix Reloaded, the Matrix Trilogy movie review. Stay tuned for the finale to the Matrix movies, Matrix Revolutions. I'll see y'all in the next video. I'm your host, Red Hood 29. I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.